2008 will be remembered as the year that gifted us with an array of remarkable games. Some of these incredible titles are the brilliant sequel to Gears of War with Gears of War 2, Call of Duty World at War, the Treyarch game that saw the introduction of zombies to the franchise, and we all know how big that phenomenon was. Left 4 Dead, another incredible co-op zombies experience, Dead Space and Mario Kart Wii, my first ever racing game and one I used to play with my parents almost every night. But amidst the competition, one game soared above the rest, securing the coveted title of Game of the Year and becoming the joint second highest game on Metacritic, with a whopping 98. And that game is, of course, Grand Theft Auto 4. Set in the New York-inspired Liberty City. Grand Theft Auto series is a cultural phenomenon, and is certainly one of the greatest and most beloved series in the world, being the games that set the standard of an open world when released, while shaping the gaming industry and transcending into mainstream every time one gets released. And yet, GTA 4 elevated the series to unprecedented heights, being a real revolution in open world games with everything you want. The impact of this franchise, and more specifically GTA 4, is immeasurable, weaving itself into the very fabric of gaming history. As we navigate through Liberty City's gritty streets and shoot up the crime gangs embedded within, it is crucial to acknowledge the critical acclaim that GTA received from near enough everyone. It is beloved by everyone but me, securing the second highest Metacritic score of all time with the PS3 release. It wasn't just a game, it was a masterpiece, and at the time it felt like real life. And obviously we can see now with GTA 5 and similar other games, it is still dated but still great. Many players will consider it the pinnacle of storytelling in the GTA series, immersing players in a narrative that's both compelling and emotional, with its believable and lovable characters, and how the story grows and progresses throughout. Now let's actually dive into the heart of GTA 4. Its story. The premise is simple yet captivating. You play as Nico Bellic, an immigrant striving for the elusive American dream, joining his cousin Roman, looking for work and willing to do work for anyone who is willing to pay the price for his services. The characters you meet become more powerful, wanting more and more favours from you, with Nico having his own motives and true reasons for coming to Liberty City in the first place. It's a story full of heart, emotion, multiple betrayals, and choices to make that could lead to the death of some characters and change the way the whole story pans out. And personally, the freedom and unpredictability of the GTA story is what makes the game what it is. Playing it how you want to, doing the story in the order that you want, making the choices you want to make. And it really defines open world. As what is the point of an open world like Liberty City if you can't play the story how you want? Now let's zero in on the characters that inhabit Liberty City. Nico has interactions with a diverse cast of personalities that breathe life into the game. Each character, from his cousin Roman, who is a fat guy, to the multiple antagonists along the way, add a layer of richness to the narrative. I mean, who doesn't instantly fall in love with little Jacob when you first meet him, being a Rasta and being a super chill laid back dude, ultimately helping you out in the final mission? Or how about all the gangs you end up working for? They're mostly the same, wanting you to move some drugs or whack some guy. They're pretty well done, feeling like something out of the Goodfellas or Sopranos. The variety of missions that they send you on though is very limited, doing one of 3 things for each of them, but they blend intense shootouts with car chases, so it will keep most players engaged, needing to take cover and pick the moments to shoot, especially when sometimes surrounded by a small army. 2008 marked a turning point in gaming technology, and GTA 4 was definitely at the forefront of this revolution. The technical marvel that Rockstar achieved with this game is nothing short of extraordinary. Liberty City comes alive with its bustling streets, super realistic car traffic, which sometimes can be incredibly dense, actually taken away from the game for me, as it just gets annoying, as who wants to drive properly in a GTA game, am I right? You want to go as fast as you can, trying to weave through traffic, but in this game it's just too much at some points. I know there's a setting, but anyway. The game also has a meticulous attention to detail for the time, with character interactions on the streets and the physics objects in the real world would have when interacting with them. And by interacting, yes, I do mean crashing. So it's not just a game, it's an actual living, breathing city. But the story isn't all the game has to offer, as beyond the main storyline, GTA 4 offered a staggering amount of freedom and activities to do in between the main missions, or for something else to do. These things include being able to go out with many different NPCs. These could be drinking with a friend or on a date, leading to needing to drive them home drunk. Oh my god, it was seriously one of the hardest tasks in the game. Like, just look at the gameplay. Or you could even go on a date to a grimy pool bar, winning at pool because she potted the cue ball and the 8 at the same time. Man, how lucky am I? With many more activities like comedy clubs and, going to basically a KFC that you could do with your friends made in Liberty City. And in an era where true open world games were still finding their footing, Liberty City stood as a pioneer and the pinnacle of what an open world should be, as the level of immersion and freedom was groundbreaking, providing players with an experience that felt remarkably real for its time. And along with the already mentioned traffic issues, I need to mention one major issue that I encountered. In the final mission of my playthrough, I could not for the life of me climb on the helicopter. It's so annoying when you get this far through a game, and it's hopefully something that I can get past. The game, of course, is far from perfect, and there are some issues regarding the game, besides my own personal dislikes of GTA games. There are some quality of life issues that plagued the playthrough. Firstly, having a very realistic driving experience is cool and all, but by God, it's so unwieldy at times, just swerving everywhere, especially on bikes. Now, you can get used to it, but in the early days of the game, it could be such a nuisance just to drive to get to places. Like, there is a limit of how realistic your mechanics should be until it's an actual hindrance to the gameplay. GTA is not a simulator where the most realistic mechanics are the goal. It is an open world game you want to explore, and the driving can sometimes ruin that. Secondly, is the fact that you will constantly lose cars. Yes, you do have a little parking spot outside the apartment. You collect that, keep your car, but multiple times through the game, you will be given a very nice car, only for you to finish a mission and it be completely gone. Needed to steal another car again. Maybe I'm being stupid, but it's something that really distracts from the game, as there is no semblance of ownership, as your cars just disappear with no apparent way to get them back. Now let's shift our focus to the core elements that define any GTA game. Weapons, story and missions. In GTA 4, each aspect is meticulously crafted. The arsenal of weapons at your disposal is diverse with a nice mixture of handguns, shotguns, automatic rifles and a massive RPG to explode cars. The story is engaging and the missions seamlessly blend driving and shooting elements despite them all blending together without much diversity. It's either driving or shooting, or driving while shooting. But it's what makes a GTA game a GTA game, with most of the enjoyment from the story actually coming from the dialogue and character interactions rather than the actual gameplay. And let's actually appreciate the narrative delivery in this game, as it's essential to highlight the roles that the cutscenes and dialogue have, as this is the main mode of delivery for the story. The GTA games have some of the most realistic dialogue and character interactions ever, which elevates the characters beyond mere avatars. And it's in these moments that GTA 4 transcends gaming, offering an experience akin to watching a film or TV series, with twists and turns throughout, meeting new people and problems always arising that you need to fix. The characters in GTA 4 feel like genuine individuals, and are some of the best in the world, each with their own quirks, flaws and aspirations, learning a lot about them through the reactions to situation changes and things against their will. The nuanced portrayals and the interplay of personalities create an ensemble that rivals even the most acclaimed films. Rockstar's commitment to realism here extends beyond the game mechanics, seeping into the very essence of the characters and their interactions. As sometimes in video games, the dialogue with each character speaking is in a list, basically. One character speaks, they finish, next character speaks, they finish, back and forth. But in GTA, it takes the reality to a new level with actual interruptions and actual emotions seeping out. I especially like the interactions between Nico and Bernie. And as we marvel at the technological achievements of GTA 4 as a game, it's impossible to ignore now how dated it is in 2023. The depiction of 2008 New York with its dated technology, fashion and cultural references is a nostalgic trip. I mean, just look at the phone model that you have and the computers that you see around Liberty City, and even the vehicles you see and drive, as this transports players to a bygone era, encapsulating the essence of 2008. And there is one thing that is really fun to use sometimes, especially when you get used to it, and that is this action camera mode, activated by pressing a button as you go into one of several action style cameras, as if you're in a police chase or crime drama. Making driving harder, of course, but man do these shots look cool sometimes, especially as you learn when to pull them off, with a nice addition to be able to slow time down, making it more cinematic and actually making it somewhat possible to drive, as you can react and make some cool content with these clips. Now, I'm no stranger to unpopular takes, as regular viewers might know, especially regarding video games. I think the first Gears of War game is better than the first Halo game.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But even though this is one of the most beloved games of all time, GTA games as a whole have never really appealed to me besides the multiplayer on GTA 5 with friends. The idea of being a criminal, living in the bum end of society, bedding women and doing drugs has never, ever been my thing. It makes me have a slight dislike for the games, as the premise from the get-go isn't for me. Now don't get me wrong, I think the game is good, and for 2008 it was an incredible technological achievement, and I'm sure GTA 6 will be that as well. And with a very well done story with some incredible characters, it's still a very well made game. But it wasn't my favourite on this Game of the Year list, but most people probably disagree with that and will love it so much. But GTA 4 for 2008 was definitely a deserved Game of the Year. And if you want to find out what the Game of the Year for 2009 is, click subscribe and/or click on the playlist to watch the entire Game of the Year series. Bye bye.